Early YouTube was simple. People recorded videos on webcams, made mistakes, and laughed at themselves. It wasn't polished or scripted. Instead, it was about sharing passions and connecting with others. This raw and filtered style made it easy for creators and viewers to bond. Today, many people miss that time. But why? And what can it teach us about improving the way we interact online? Like, what made the old YouTube special? And you can't see it, but I put air quotes around old YouTube, right? Because that's coming up a lot in my search feeds lately, and I wanted to investigate this topic a little further. So here we are. So many of us can remember early YouTube, right? Simplicity, authenticity, these weren't just buzzwords back then. It just was. Maybe we were too young to get wrapped up in all the marketing buzz around the words, but it just was. I don't know how else to explain it. Whereas now, you hear these buzzwords coming up a lot as referring to what might be missing or what people are now desiring. So videos weren't about flashy editing and chasing views. Creators shared what they loved, whether it was gaming, daily life, or a new idea. I got into plenty of vlogs way back in the day. We're talking the early 2010s. And then it was gaming videos in the mid 2010s, right? And in this earlier content, this approach felt personal and real. Watching a video often felt like spending time with a friend. These early creators didn't just show the gameplay. They shared their excitement, their mistakes, their laughter. It was a crappy webcam, maybe a crappy audio mic on a headset bouncing off their jaw. But viewers felt included as if they were part of the experience itself, and many even formed communities and comment sections, making friends over shared interests. Many of those earliest memes came from this environment, this back and forth. Not that this doesn't exist today, but we're still using memes that come from that time, that older time. So what changed? Well, around 2016, there were some big events that transformed the platform. Many of us might still recall the great adpocalypse, right? So new monetization rules, YouTube's stricter policies, and ads forced creators to focus more on making money. And then many might not remember Vine. Anyone remember Vine? Vine got bought out by Twitter, but then it kind of died within a year or something, if I remember the history correctly. For those of you who don't know what Vine was, imagine it being a social media feed like Twitter is today, but it was micro-sized videos. Crazy enough, like shorts. Okay, so when Vine shut down, its stars moved to YouTube. This was around that 2016, 2017 era. This was the Paul brothers. This was like other folks, right, coming in. And what they brought was fast-paced, highly edited videos. Now you can see how that might have influenced things, right? We then all start hearing about the almighty algorithm, right? YouTube began recommending videos based on what kept people watching the longest. This pushed creators to make shorter, flashier content, which brings us back to the Vine creators popping off crazy. And then of course, 2020 era, everyone's stuck at home, and that it changed the entire platform from that time forward. Like, I felt it in 2016, but I noticed something had definitely shifted in that 2020, 2021 mark. And as a result, YouTube became more about performance and less about personal connections. Many creators felt pressured to focus on what would succeed with the algorithm rather than what felt genuine. And this happened to me. I fell into the trap hard. Started a bunch of new channels to test things out. I made my gaming channel a variety channel. Some parts of it worked and some parts of it didn't. But at the end of the day, it really did feel like I was trying to figure out the algorithm. And then I started hearing YouTube leads saying things like replace the algorithm with the audience. And at that point, it's like, yeah, some stuff unlocks, right? You start thinking like the algorithm itself is just learning what people love. And if that new mass of viewers comes into the platform and they have different watch behavior, that's going to transform what YouTube pushes to people. It's not so much a pull into the channel, but a push channel to people. And that reversal had its own impacts on content creators and the way that audiences were now discovering content. So why do people miss the quote unquote old YouTube? Well, nostalgia plays a big role, right? In why people yearn for that early YouTube. For many, it was tied to a simpler time in their lives. Watching these videos felt relaxing and fun, free from the polished, overproduced content we see today. But it's more than just missing the past. It's a reaction to how online content has become less about community and more about numbers, views, likes, and retention rates. Subscribers don't really matter nowadays, right? But it still has an impact from a psychology perspective. A viewer seeing a high sub channel is likely to trust that channel's content more than a net new channel hitting the scene with 0 to 10 subscribers, right? The content might be great, but numbers do matter still. either in the algorithm or in the psychology of the audience. And like I said, if the audience is the algorithm, you can see all of this starts to blend together and really turn the content experience into a product production scenario. People want content that feels real again. And so where did this ultimately take my thinking? Not so much from a content creator perspective anymore. That phase is behind me, but I started thinking about my experience as a viewer. And this is sort of where I want to bring all this back around to. Like, how can we reclaim what made that old YouTube special, right? Even though the internet has changed, it's still possible to bring back what made early YouTube so meaningful. And so here are some suggestions, right? Watch intentionally. Think about what you want from your time on YouTube. Instead of clicking the first recommended video, look for creators who are passionate about the work and connect with their viewers. Again, you try to focus on people that are offering more than the product and they're offering an experience instead. Maybe it's a plug for my own content, okay? I'm saying this is a mission statement I'd like to work on. Whether I get it right or not, we'll see. But this is sort of what I want to drive my time on YouTube as a content creator. I want to think about it as delivering an experience again and not just making a product, which is why you're seeing the video the way you're seeing it now. We're just having a casual time here, just talking about stuff. And so the second point, engage actively. Don't just watch videos. Leave comments, share what resonated with you, and join the discussions. This isn't just about talking with the YouTuber, but back in the day, I used to see a lot more banter between people in the comments themselves, right? And that seems to have gone away to some degree. Everyone's always in a rush. I think people need to slow down a little bit, just chill, enjoy the quieter, less stressful, less dramatic moments in your life, you know? So the third point, support smaller creators. So look for creators who focus on authenticity and performance. And I mean real authenticity, not buzzword authenticity. Like, and I don't know how to define that. It's all subjective, right? Make your own decisions on what you interpret as realness. And maybe if you're looking for a change, that's the kind of content you should be looking for. I mean, some of them have things like Patreons or YouTube memberships and stuff like that, right? Don't feel obligated to support in that way financially, right? If you can, cool. If you can't, don't worry about it. That engagement is way more meaningful in today's YouTube than it was in the past, where things could be gamed. The YouTube AI system can't really be gamed anymore by the channel because each one of us is our own piece of the algorithm now. Each one of us as viewers, not the channels. And so your engagement really does help a channel get discovered a lot more than I would suspect many people believe. So get on out there and engage. And the final point is to push for change, right? YouTube's algorithm responds to what people watch and engage with, as I've been pointing out. If more viewers prioritize meaningful content, the platform will eventually reflect those preferences. It'll just be a new tide of users that comes onto the platform, and they will morph, they will evolve, transform. These are all the same words. They will change things to be something new again. And maybe that will be a discovery that many people didn't know that they wanted in their life, but maybe that gets us back to that old YouTube, right? The nostalgia for old YouTube is really a call for more human connections online. People miss the days when creators weren't afraid to be themselves and when viewers felt like they were part of something bigger. So while we can't go back to the past, we can learn from it. Authenticity, connection, and shared experiences are just as important today. By supporting creators who value these things and being mindful of how we interact online, we can build a better online world. And when I say be mindful, I mean a lot of drama bait is there to make people upset, to make people angry, and people hate watch. People get stuck in these toxic bubble experiences because they feel almost obligated to feed that negative emotion cycle. And you really have to make an active decision to break out of that. Don't just click on things because of the clickbait. Don't just click on things because you have to see what someone's saying about the thing you hate. You know you hate it, so why are you going to watch that video and going into those comments to ruin your day? Just find things that make you happier. I don't know. It seems so simple, And so final thoughts, the internet is what we make it. Every video we watch, every comment we leave, or channel we support shapes the kind of content platforms like YouTube prioritize. By choosing connections over clicks and authenticity over polish, we can make the online space feel more personal and meaningful again. In the end, the magic of old YouTube wasn't in the technology. It was in the people. It was in the every you that was part of the YouTube. That's something we can always bring back, no matter how the platform changes. Thank you very much, everybody, for checking this video out. I am trying a new thing on this channel, so subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. I appreciate the likes or dislikes if you don't like this kind of content. If you dislike it, YouTube will share less of it to you, and you'll be contributing to the algorithm in your own way. But for those of you who stuck around and want to have a conversation down below, by all means, also leave a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire, buddy.